Greetings, DFG here, Gideonsflight. Hey guys, I have a special guest with me here today, sitting over to my right. It's my second oldest son, Derek Green. And we're going to be talking today about father-son relationships. If you've seen my early relationship, the conversations around my father. And so I thought that, this time, father-son part two, we'll have my son kind of give his perspective about father-son relationships. And then he'll also maybe talk a little bit, if time permits. Derek is a Louisianian, and as you know, the recent shootings that are very concerning, nationally. Maybe Derek can give us some insight on his thoughts around that as well. Okay, but without further ado, I'm going to pass it to Derek. So Derek, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, sir. Well, first and foremost, Dad, I'm excited to be on the show.
Good. Happy to have you.
This is always a pleasure. I am Derek Green, the son of my father, Dale, proud son of my father, Dale Green. I've always known him to be an outstanding leader. So it's a privilege to carry on that legacy in as many ways as possible. I am also a father myself. Who knows? Maybe next time we'll have Darius Green, right. The third generation of this. Yeah. He'd be the third generation of Gideonsflight. But I'm a proud father as well. I'm also a humanitarian and a social commentator as well as a musician. Because I believe in we have to sometimes balance all of that seriousness out with just enjoying the simple pleasures in life and ways that we can touch people, motivate, and inspire people emotionally and spiritually and mentally. Yes. And music is one of those things which parallel all dimensions of society. So a lot of people out there may be thinking, what's so special about that? So I wanted to expound on that.
Now, what particular instrument do you play?
I played the piano, organ. I am also a composer. Yes. In fact, since the age of 8. Mm-hmm. Since the age of 8, thanks to some very supportive parents, of course.
We didn't do a whole lot there, but I think he deserved.
They gave me
the environment.
You gave me the platform. You gave me the freedom to create and to express myself. So.
All right, absolutely. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you for that brief introduction on yourself, Derek. So now tell me, in your own words, as it relates to father and son relationships, why do you feel they're important? I mean, I know there's a national understanding of it. Maybe some people would say, well, it's common sense that they're important. But if they were that important, that's right. Why these relationships seem to be severed? And this goes across the board. I was looking at some statistics not long ago, and it was talking about single mother households. And they looked at the African American community, the Europeans, the Anglo-Saxon community. And for the most part, it was very similar as far as the absentee fathers. So it's not a black or white thing.
It's not a.
It seems to be a national thing.
It's not a race or nationality thing. It's definitely a humanity. It's a humanity issue. Okay. And but I think that the father and son relationship is so important because first and foremost, the men are, created and designed to be the backbone of society. Men. The Industrial Revolution was, built on the backbone of the man, and where the importance of fatherhood comes in is that legacy has to be passed down somewhere. Yes. And it has to be passed down through the sons. Now, I don't want to come off as a sexist, but the sons are charged with carrying on that legacy of leadership and giving vision, to inspire the rest of the world. So I think the biggest thing is that those legacies be passed down, and then the sons have to also be open to receive the passing down of that legacy, not just for cliche or just to perpetuate some societal norm, but to actually understand why the fathers did what they did, the fathers of the the prior generations, the predecessors, they have to understand why they did things a certain way, and then understand how to carry it out so that that leadership can be perpetuated. There's a quote that I love by John Maxwell, and he says that and let me make sure I get this right. I don't like misquoting anyone, but it says that everything rises and falls on leadership.
Yes. So that's I'm familiar with that quote as well. So would it be safe to say that fatherhood and leadership are pretty much one and the same?
Oh yes,
synonymous with one another?
they're definitely synonymous.
So
because I believe that 90% of fatherhood is leadership.
So if 90% of fatherhood is leadership, and we're talking about almost 50% of homes are absent of fathers, then my next question would be, what's your thoughts around, why aren't fathers understanding this? Is there something systemically wrong that would make fathers? Because you share some good points around its importance and how that, it has to, the skill sets, the male skill sets, have to be passed down to the sons. But if the fathers are not there, how does that affect the community, or do you feel like it affects the community, the home?
Absolutely. Well, you look at the evolution of social media and this new reality TV age that we live in.
Okay.
When the fathers are absent, that's what we have to go off. That's what the new generation of sons or boys who are to be men one day. That's what they have to go off of. And so the examples that they're seeing are these men. Now, I'll just talk about the black men for a second. Let's just talk about the black men as an example. You look at all of these shows, and I don't want to quote any of those shows specifically, but I mean it shows a lot of these men acting out, and it shows them getting into situations with women, and if a woman upsets them, their first response is to raise the hand or to call her out of her name or to disrespect her. Even to the point of belittling.
Yeah, and almost
the point of below, like literally putting these women below their feet. And you have to think about that. If you're going to do that, you have to remember, okay, well, the women, they carry our seed. They bear our seed so that we can reproduce it the next generation.
Well, they're very important for the infrastructure of the family, as well.
Not on right.
And I couldn't agree with you more in terms of how media and information is being passed on, and obviously if simulation becomes actualization. It could create almost a commonality where it literally condones fathers not being in the home. But here's the question that I would present to you. I mean, having a father, because first of all, as I look at the things that you're doing, as a professional and a very, very well-rounded, young man, can you share with us what are some of the things that you saw possibly in your father that was inspiring, or even things that you may have seen in your father that were concerning?
Well, what I saw, and I want everyone to really listen up on this, because this is very important. I talked to my son about this to this day. My son is actually 11 years old now. He turns 12 in October.
Yes.
And your grandson,
Darius.
And Darius Green. And one of the things that stood out to me more than anything was how my father made a point to talk to us, to sit us down, to slow us down from whatever we had going on, and have discussions with us about everything from the birds and the bees to to ways that we could internalize, process, receive, and respond to information that we witness in society. How to deal with the things that are happening in the streets. Yes. How to deal with an understanding of politics and how politics affects our everyday lives.
Right.
Social studies, history, even science.
Yes.
You talk to us about all of these things. So when me and my siblings grew up and had to face the world, we kind of had a one-up on a lot of the people who didn't have fathers in the home, because there are a lot of things, I'm a military veteran, just like yourself. I'm a military veteran. And I can remember being in basic training after hours,
Yes.
when the lights went, lights out. I'm literally giving lectures to my entire platoon about everything from STDs
Yes.
to important historical facts,
Yes.
politics, and how it affected us as soldiers at that time. A lot of these guys had no idea what they signed up for.
Yes.
Well, I was able to help them understand not only what they signed up for, but what was the bigger vision and even the history, the historical system, which allowed all of that stuff to come into place. How did I learn that? As an 11, 12, 13-year-old in your house, in my dad's house, listening, being attentive to those talks.
Yeah, I remember those conversations.
Yeah, so go ahead.
I remember distinctly. There was this movie that came out years ago, Minister Society.
Yes.
And I remember that I took you guys to see the movie, and it was an
did.
R-rated movie. And my attempt for taking you guys was to let you see, what life can look like, if you don't have your act together. Because
Right.
we were somewhat fortunate. We were definitely middle class. And I knew that, I didn't want you guys
we didn't want for much.
Exactly right. And I didn't want you guys to
Yeah.
think that was a guarantee. I wanted you to be exposed to the other things, and what happens in the inner cities. And I remember we went to watch the movie, and after the movie, there was some giggling and laughing about some of the behavior of some of the characters in the movie. And I remember having to time you guys out and give another lecture around. That wasn't the purpose of the movie. The point of the movie was for you to learn how to correctly, coexistence out of your community, how to show respect, how to understand, danger, and how to avoid it, at all costs. So, you definitely bring up, a very good point. And I think that the things that you shared of how to make it better, I think that came across, very clearly as well. It sounds like you're talking about, communicating. But we only have a couple of minutes left. So with the last couple of minutes, I know you're Louisianian.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm in Rhode Island. I'm a New Englander.
Yes.
Right now,
yes.
anyway, temporarily, I suppose, maybe longer. I've been there a while now, so I guess I can call myself a New Englander. But that said, with the recent, obviously, the shooting of a young man a couple of weeks ago, Alton Sterling. And then, of course, the police shooting just a couple of days ago, this past Sunday morning. What's your thoughts around that? In 2 minutes, what you have any insight you want to share on that?
Well, I believe that very thing that we were just talking about segues right into that.
Yes.
A lack of leadership.
Yes.
Now, not just a lack of leadership on the part of those out there in the streets getting murdered, and like you look at Alton Sterling, they gave us a little bit of his history, how he was living in a.
Well, you know what? How about this, Derek? Audience. What we're going to do is we're going to put this in 2 segments because I think this is important. I don't want to shorten the time on this. So we're going to come right back to you with part 2, Father and Sons. DFG, now you know Gideon's Flight. Thank you for listening.